It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, back at it. We jam a 3-hour show into a 2-hour bag today. Rothman and Ice. My man Dave Biddle to my right. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you here on the lazy river, my friend.
It is. Hop in the raft. We'll take you through the rapids, and we will have a nice little show. We'll do some NFL picks against the number coming up at 1:33. It's been a dumpster fire this year for me on that, but we're climbing out of it slowly. We will have a little news on, or you'll hear from Justin Fields as far as the writing on the wall in Pittsburgh. We'll do a Gold Jacket Thursday. And this dude is awesome. Kevin Mawae, if you remember the name, one of the best centers to ever suit up, played for Seattle. They were trash, went to the Jets, played for Parcells, ended his career in Tennessee. I mean, this guy was blocking for Curtis Martin and Johnson with Tennessee. And, I mean, he blocked for some dudes that were pretty amazing. But I can't wait to ask him about the story about, being a center and having basically mangled his right hand in a face mask and had to learn how to snap left-handed so he could continue to basically play for a while.
That's extremely
It'll be fun when I ask him about that later at 2:33, so don't miss Gold Jacket Thursdays. I haven't seen you or talked to you, maybe by text we have, since Saturday night, and I know what Buckeye fan is thinking. They're not thinking they have a bad team. They're not thinking technically that they have bad coaching. What they're thinking is that they're sick and tired of being on the wrong side of these nail-biter games when you have the talent to win them. And I sat here on Monday, and I went over, and you cannot obviously take them off the hook for certain things that happened on Saturday night, and a defense that was hyped so much before the season. And, yes, that was their biggest test. No one's taking that away from them. But there were certain things that happened in that game. And I was listening to Ryan Day on the Coaches Show today, and as much as you want to say, well, it's Thursday and the game happens Saturday, he was not over it. You could tell he was not. He's more than willing to admit it. And this wasn't a snapback mentality for them. And maybe because they didn't have a game this Saturday, it lingered a little longer than maybe it would normally. But he went back to, my whole point in telling you this, my observations of it, was he just kept coming back to the damn thing that has bothered them over the last few years, explosive plays. And they came into this game as a defense that was priding itself. And we were always very measured on their schedule, Dave. But I'll tell you what, when he came to the table today on a Thursday from a Saturday night game, which is we lost the turnover battle. We didn't outrush them. We gave up the explosive plays. It was like his biggest checklist of how in the world do we not win one of those things, which he deems is the most important trifecta in college football.
And what did he say throughout the offseason and during the preseason and even after the first few games? Leave no doubt. We can leave no doubt. We can't leave it to one play. That's the irony of the Oregon game, because he talked about that entering the season. And I liked his attitude today a lot. I'm glad that he didn't come in here like, hey, everything's okay. We have all of our goals. Everybody knows they have all their goals ahead of them. He doesn't need to, be a used car salesman. He needs to go in there and act like he did today and take ownership for it and, not act like it's not a big deal. And there's two ways to look at it if you're an Ohio State fan. There really are. I mean, and I think there's also a middle ground. But you can be a glass half full or a glass half empty. If you're glass half empty, you're like, okay, is this defense really going to get better? Like, what about this defense do we think all of a sudden they're going to be a good tackling defense, like magically, when they don't practice tackling? So there's a few things. Clock management continues to rear its head. Josh Simmons is now hurt. If you're a glass half full, you're like, okay, let's pump the brakes here. They lost by 1 point on the road, raucous environment at night against a top 3 team. Okay. If they run the table, they're going to be in the Big Ten championship game, likely against Oregon, with a chance to revenge the loss. And Ohio State, Anthony, I think would be favored in that game in Indy. Ohio State was favored at Oregon. If you look at the national championship odds right now, Ohio State has the second best odds to win the national championship. Texas, 350. Ohio State plus 450. Georgia's right around 5-1. Oregon's right around 5-1. So the second best odds to win the national championship. So all their goals are there. And final thing I'll say is I'm a big believer in the mental side of sports. We'll see if this wakes them up. We'll see if this has anything to do with that. But I think this could wake them up. You know, this could be, even if it was a 1-point loss on the road, maybe they were reading their press clippings, use an old school term, a little too much, and maybe this will focus them.
So I did a poll yesterday, and I'll let you weigh in on it. I'll let even Cole weigh in on it. Hello, Cole. It's good to see you,
Cole.
man.
Greetings, fellas.
So the Cole train is going to weigh in on this as well.
Ooh, I like that nickname.
And I would say that, so yesterday I said I wanted to take the temperature of Buckeye Nation, whatever. What's your belief today, right now? And my choices were there's still a playoff lock. They'll make the semis. They'll still win it all. Or worried they don't even get in. Like to have that bottom basement worry. So where would you have been on those four?
I still think they're a playoff lock. I'm not going to say they're a lock to win the national championship by any means. I still think they have a good shot. And another thing that helps Ohio State, I don't see, and maybe Texas is, I don't see a true juggernaut in college football this year. We're like, well, even if they get there, they have no chance against that team. And maybe you could say, well, maybe Texas is that team. We'll find out. But they're two quality wins, and they blew them both out, and they looked great. Give them their props. Two quality wins, Michigan and Oklahoma, who both look like they're going to end up as bad teams that are outside the top 25. So I do think they're a lock to make it. And here's another thing. I've had a lot of people ask me, well, could 10-2 Ohio State still possibly get in?
Of course.
If you tell me the loss is at Penn State and it's a close game, so your two losses are at Oregon by 1, let's say it's at Penn State by 3, and you're sitting there at 10-2, yeah, you wouldn't have a lot of quality wins, but your two losses are to top 3 teams on the road and they're close games. 10-2, Ohio State's getting in. The problem with that, Anthony, as you know, they're getting in probably as like the 10 seed or something right around there where you're playing on the road the first week. Even if you get by that against a higher seed, you then have to win 3 more games to win the national championship. So we'll see if they can right the ship, if that's even the correct term, after losing 1 point to Oregon. But the defense needs to get markedly better. But again, man, it's weird. If they do win out, including the Big Ten championship game, they're sitting there at 12-1. It's going to be like this game last Saturday never happened because they would be Big Ten champs. They would have a first-round bye in the CFP. Basically exactly where they wanted to be.
So maybe I shouldn't have jumped so fast by saying absolutely. Because I don't know how the whole season's going to play out with the other teams. I guess in my world, you're right. If their 2 losses were good losses, but they have no exemplary wins, and I said yesterday on the show, if you're pinning your hopes to the little hurrying Hoosiers that they're going to be a top 15 team when you beat them and you're going to bank on that, it's like, in A Few Good Men. Tell me their lawyer isn't pinning their hopes to a phone bill. Tell me their coach isn't pinning their hopes to a win over Indiana to get them in a playoff. And I guess I just can't wrap my mind around that it would take that to get in. But
Iowa will probably be ranked, in my opinion, when the dust settles. Iowa will be a top 25 team. So far, their losses they got blown out by Ohio State in Columbus and lost by 1 point on a last-second field goal to Iowa State, who's ranked 11th. I think Iowa will probably drop 1 more, but no more, and I think Iowa will be ranked. That's why 10-2 Ohio State. Again, you don't want to do that because I think they would not win the national championship. They'd have a chance. They'd at least be in the dance. 10-2 Ohio State, to me, would be a virtual lock, presuming the loss is at Penn State by a close margin. Now, if you're Ohio State, how about just don't even have that happen? Take care of business in Happy Valley. Because even against the Hoosiers, who are the surprise team in college football this year, Nebraska is not going to be a joke, although if you're the Cornhuskers, not a great time to play Ohio State. They're ticked off. They're coming off a bye, and you're playing them in Columbus. Not good. Penn State's going to be tough. Their new offensive coordinator, Anthony, I really, really like him. They stole him from Kansas, and you can see it. You can see it in the stats, but if you watch, this is by far the most innovative Penn State offense we've seen, and Aller looks different. So that's going to be a tough game in Happy Valley. If they can get past that, even though some of these games, obviously Michigan, the Hoosiers, the story of college football, those are not going to be easy games. Purdue will be easy. Northwestern will probably be easy. I think they're going to cruise into the Big Ten championship game if they can get past Penn State. Big if there.
I'll tell you, that's a phrase that I don't think you would have uttered before this season. If they can get past Penn State. And here we are. And so in August, I don't think any of us were going to be saying those words. We weren't going to attach an if to anything we talked about with Ohio State. It's when. And here we are. So I'm with you. The other part about it is that, yes, all their goals are intact, but we need to find out whether a 1-point loss exposed anything. And it certainly exposed Denzel Burke. Those receivers did. And it exposed Jim Knowles to some degree situationally. Now, I don't have any idea. We talked to Austin Ward the other day, and I'll get your opinion on this. If if you're not getting home and the defense feels like they've got to bring more than they'd like to, it does change the way your defense is able to operate. We expected those bookends and more to get some more pressure than they did on Saturday night, and maybe to swim a little more and not just take the angles where you're trying to just contain. But I understood that Dylan Gabriel was a guy you needed to contain, and look what happened. I mean, there are a couple plays in that game, and this is what was probably hurting Ryan Day's sleep pattern, is that he's back again in this camp of defending. We're one play away, we're this play away, we're a slide a second earlier away from giving our guy a chance at a kick. There are 12 men on the field loophole away from maybe getting into field goal. You can't keep selling that song, and he knows it. And I heard it in his voice today, and I still believe in him. I still believe that they have enough talent
I do too.
to get this done, but it doesn't take away the onus and pressure they must feel now to go back to your phrase of if they get past Penn State, which I never thought I'd utter. But
I mean, Penn State was thought to be a legit top 10 team coming into the year.
But
and
Ohio
it's never
State
easy at Happy Valley.
Was this assembled juggernaut.
That's true.
That now, maybe you could go back to the way of saying that that no team really has an easy way of going undefeated. So I was in the camp, if I was in voting yesterday, I was in the camp of that they'll still make the semifinals. I would guarantee nothing beyond that.
I believe they will,
If you would guarantee nothing beyond they're a playoff lock. Cole, were you in the camp? Would you guarantee anything more than just a playoff lock at this point?
Guarantee, definitely a playoff lock. I tend to think probably.
Where would you have voted?
I would have said in the championship game, not to spoil your second poll, because I know that you're the poll master, and yeah, you had a second one that you wanted to talk about. But I think
great.
I think you win the conference, get in the top four, and then thinking if the SEC is probably the 1 seed, Big Ten, Ohio State the 2nd seed, I'm not really worried about the Big 12 champ or the ACC champ in that semifinal game.
All right, help me craft this one then for today, which maybe I'll even drift into tomorrow. If the Buckeyes play Oregon again, what happens? Here would be your choices. No doubt they get revenge. Choice 2, Ducks win again. What's my third choice? Depends on location.
We know the location.
Well, it'll be
Indianapolis.
What if they don't play him in Indy, but get in the playoff and they play him somewhere there?
I got you.
Would that even? Well, what is the third choice? Or just leave it at 2 choices?
Well, one of them would be Big Ten champs. They wouldn't play in the first round. They wouldn't play either in Columbus or Eugene, obviously. Let's say they do have a rematch in Indy, because that's a strong possibility. If Ohio State wins out, unless Oregon drops 2 games, which I can't imagine they will, they might drop 1 at the most. It's going to be Ohio State, Oregon in Indy, and I think Ohio State will be favored. So I would never say like 100% Ohio State's going to win that game. Oregon's a legit good team and they're well coached. But in Indy, with the revenge factor, and I do think Ohio State has the better roster. I know they just lost by 1 point at Oregon. I think Ohio State would be favored in that game, and I would take Ohio State to win by a touchdown. Can we make that an option? Ohio State by a touchdown.
They only give me so many characters, big fella. I would go with
TD.
I would go with, how about this? Revenge in Indy, no doubt. Or just, 2 Ducks win again. Is there even a third choice I need to put on this bowl?
I don't think you need a third choice. I'm taking.
Well, the third choice would be if they don't meet in Indy for some horrible reason, but they still get in, and then they have to meet them again somewhere in the bracket.
So the choices are Ohio State wins definitely, or Oregon wins definitely. I'm okay with that. Just who wins. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I think
Oregon's not beating them twice, in my opinion.
Yeah, if you have, and this is universal across college football, if you have 2 like teams, obviously if the margins are insane, then that's different. But if you have 2 teams that are similar, I think it's really, really hard to beat the same team twice in one season.
All right, we'll come back. Ross Bjork was on the Buckeye show last night, and we'll get his reaction to Ohio State's first, what you'd call, big game L under his watch, and you'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Hockey is back. You're listening to Blue Jackets Week. Proud to be your flagship home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Men, if erectile dysfunction is affecting you, getting treated could have a dramatic impact on your relationship and your outlook on life. But it's also important where you get treated, because your health matters. And working with an organization that practices excellent medicine and has significant expertise in men's sexual health can often result in a far better outcome. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're seeking a quality provider to treat your ED or are just not satisfied with your current situation, call us. We'll show you a true 5-star experience and work with you to find the right treatment for your specific medical situation. At Tri-State Men's Health, we truly are experts in men's sexual health, but it's more than that. Unlike the online pill pushers or so-called men's clinics that only offer one or a few treatment options, we offer the full spectrum of ED protocols. We can even use combinative therapies for better results. At Tri-State Men's Health, your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
This is Bob Capace, owner of Worthington Jewelers. Our fall bridal buy one, get one half off sale is ending this weekend. Select the perfect ring from thousands of styles or create a one-of-a-kind ring of your dreams. Worthington Jewelers, where Columbus gets engaged.
If your air conditioning or furnace stops working in the middle of the night, on a weekend, or over a holiday, there's no reason to wait to get it fixed. For 100 years, Atlas Butler has been here for your family. We're always open, we work on all furnace and air conditioner brands, and it's easy and convenient to request service. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Hey, it's Anthony. Do more with your money at Tel-Ohio Credit Union. If you know Tel-Ohio Choice Checking, you know all the perks that come with your account. Cash in your benefits by setting up an account today. Find out more at telohio.org.
Certain restrictions apply. Tel-Ohio is open to all in Central and Southwestern Ohio. Federally insured by NCUA.
There's nothing like having Common Man and T-Bone resting on your bosom.
Oh, for someone with no breasts, you've done very well for yourself.
Gross. Pick up the latest T-shirt in the fan store or pick up merch from a show you actually like. We even have Ohio State and jacket stuff. Head to 971thefan.com.
Thank you for calling Great Lakes. Great Lakes Kia.
Do you like scary movies?
Nah, they don't scare me.
What does scare you?
High car payments. They make me want to scream.
And at Great Lakes Kia?
We have brand new Kias under $5 a day. Come pick one out.
Maybe I'm already here.
Cool. Lease new 24 Kia Forte LXS, EV6 Wind, and Sorrento LX. All three under $5 a day.
That's only $139 a month for 24 months.
Plus new 24 Kia Telluride LX under $8 a day.
$249 for 24 months.
At Great Lakes Kia.
What if I have scary credit?
No problem. Get approved with 0% financing.
Perfect. And I'm right behind you.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Great cars, great people, Great Lakes Kia.
In Columbus, GreatLakesKia.com.
Can I hang up now?
To qualified buyers, visit GreatLakesKia.com for details.
You know, Ohio's Supreme Court makes headlines for the wrong reasons. They even ruled it's okay for boneless chicken wings to have bones that can choke kids.
But we can stop their extreme one-party politics by voting for Mike Donnelly, Melody Stewart, and Lisa Forbes for Ohio's Supreme Court.
Right. Ohio's newspapers say Donnelly, Stewart, and Forbes are the clear choice.
We need an experienced, independent court we can trust, and Donnelly, Stewart, and Forbes will judge the Reproductive Freedom Amendment fairly and honestly, protecting our rights, safety, and families.
Ohioans deserve independent justice, transparency, and equal treatment under the law. That's why we really need Donnelly, Stewart, and Forbes to provide checks and balances.
Don't stop fighting for your rights, freedoms, and choices. But do remember to vote for Mike Donnelly, Melody Stewart, and Lisa Forbes.
Paid for by Donnelly for Supreme Court, Stewart for Ohio Supreme Court, and Forbes for Justice.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, sunny with a high of 62. Not quite as cold tonight, but still cold enough for the winter jacket. Lows in the low to mid 30s. Tomorrow afternoon, we are up near 70. And then on Saturday, we're looking at sunny skies, high 71. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
We're sending AR and Matty Ice to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Their expense account? Nothing but beans, baby. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Oh, we can only hope so. So, a lot of reaction. With a bye week, there really isn't a chance for us to move on. There will be. You and I were talking during the break. All right, so by the way, the new poll is out, Poll Master. Pollmaster General.
That's right.
The new poll is going to read, if the Buckeyes play Oregon again, what happens? OSU gets revenge, no doubt. Ducks sweep. Or your final choice, because I did add one, no clue, another nail biter. Which you're just not ready to commit either way.
Yeah, I hate speaking in absolutes. I would be heavily confident Ohio State would win that game. And keep in mind, they'd come in with a hell of a lot of momentum, not just the revenge factor. And they're playing, I don't know, if you drive like me about 2 hours away.
Yeah. Well, maybe not.
If you follow the laws, maybe more like 3.
December asphalt will be dry.
Hopefully it will be dry. Yeah, if it's snowing, don't do that. Don't do it.
No, I'm with you. I mean, that's 80% Buckeyes at that point, and the Oregon fans would just be waiting for wherever their team goes in the playoff to go spend them. And this, by the way, this was always the big thing we talked about with extended playoff, which is fan travel and all that. And then, do I spend the money to go to a conference championship game or do I not? I mean, who knows? And then you got quarters and semis and championship, and how they expect these fans to just bounce around the country at that time of the year with all that money. Who knows? But I agree with you. That would be one of those that you want to talk about the atmosphere in Autzen being equaled. It would be equaled in Indy. There's no question about it.
I don't know about equaled.
Well,
I wasn't there, but I heard it was like.
No, I heard it was good too. There were people on Twitter telling me that it was not a factor.
And
I'm like,
I heard different from people I trust. They said it was to the point people are now like, how come Ohio State Stadium can't do that? It's like, well, Ohio Stadium has been like that for a long time. It will get loud at certain times. Most of the time, it's not going to get. But like, there's times where you couldn't hear yourself think. Like '95 Notre Dame. There's been Michigan games like that. The USC game in 08. So we can all pick different Ohio State games where it's been crazy in there. The 2018 game with Dwayne Haskins against Michigan, it was crazy in there. But too often, it's not like that. Now, is it like that when Oregon? They're coming to Purdue, but if they were hosting Purdue, would it be like that? No, of course not. But I heard that was, and we knew that about Autzen. We knew it was going to be a loud environment, but I heard it was off the chain loud. So I don't know. Indy would help Ohio State. I'm just pushing back that they would be like, that would be equal to what Ohio State faced in Eugene.
There are so many ifs from Saturday night that if they, that's why it's tough to reverse it, because I'm wondering what this week would have been like. Howard leads them all the way down there. And listen, I would have probably thrown the flag on Jeremiah as well. I mean, they're looking for it. They're going to see that. They're going to see a push-off. Whether he was getting grabbed beforehand, they're going to see the push-off to create space. But anyway, my point of it is, if he leads him down there and Fielding has a career long or kicks a 48-yarder, what are we talking about this week? We're talking about Denzel Burke being roasted in a different way. We're talking about JT's biting on the read option and leaving the back door open.
We're talking about Will Howard having a hell of a good game.
A hell of a good game, right?
He had a really good game anyway, but
he didn't.
What are we going to remember? Yeah. The gaff at the end, he never should have been in that position. Can almost make the argument it wasn't his fault, but he's a fifth-year senior. He should have known he could not do what he did. But
I think he should have thrown it.
That's what we'd be talking about.
I think he should have thrown it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. I mean, you can't do what he did. Overall, I thought he played really well, even with that. So he had the this was just a. I don't know what happened there. It was a perfect snap from McLaughlin, and he just dropped the snap, and that just killed a drive. So
Maddie and I talked about that.
Overall, I thought he played really well. And if they would have won, we'd be sitting there saying, Will Howard's the dude.
You were watching like I was, and I don't know whether they hit the times 2 or 3 button on the replay, but Seth's snap actually looked like an absolute 100-mile-an-hour fastball back to him. I don't know if anyone's talked about that or whether they actually did speed up the replay, because it looked like that thing was coming back like he was long snapping. When you get time, look back at it and give me your opinion.
You can tell you've piqued my interest.
Give me your opinion on that. And he's got to catch it, but I don't know if he was expecting it like that. But yeah, there was those plays, and then we talked about this defense. Here's the reason why you're hoping and you think this team's going to stay together. A, they have too much talent, and like you said, all the goals are still out there. But the one thing I would say is, and I said this yesterday, if all they were selling before the year was that all these guys came back for one singular purpose, to become a championship team, and that they soft sold the NIL stuff, you soft sell the NFL chances. They were humbled, they were hungry, and nothing was going to deter them from going and playing for what they felt was their rightful deserving of a national title. If all of a sudden one 1-point loss could divide them and separate them at the seams, then everything that they were saying before the season was only words. And I believe that it was a lot more than words, that they really, truly believe it. And that's why you hope that this feeling of being a very deserving hype team works for them with a loss. It certainly worked with Oregon. They played garbage the first 2 weeks. And we thought they were maybe overhyped that we needed to see. And what did they do? They circled it up and saw that game on their schedule, got their offensive line revamped, moved a guard to center, and then manned up, and they knew they had the talent to win that game. So without one of their best defensive players, if not their best defensive player, which is tough. But
I'm with you. I think now, we'll find out. You could look at this. If you're like anti-Ohio State, you'd be like, listen to this spin doctoring. I get that. No. We'll find out, though. I tend to think that this loss will galvanize them even more, will focus them. Now, will that be enough? I don't know. I don't know if this defense can become a good tackling defense overnight. I don't know if this defense can get pressure on the quarterback enough overnight. As much as I just talked up Will Howard, and I think he's a really good quarterback, I don't know if this offense can develop a good downfield passing attack overnight. But overall, I think this loss is going to fire them up. It's going to, because they, and the irony that Denzel Burke had the worst game of his career, he was the most loud spoken about, like, hey, we can't really lose any game. We're all in. We're going to, national title or bust. And he had one of the worst games we've seen from an Ohio State corner. But Anthony, I think this loss, I think we're going to look back on it as maybe what they needed.
Hey, Cole, spin the Ross Bjork from the Buckeye Show on his reaction to the close loss.
Man, Coach Day, he and I can just have an open book, and I think that's been really healthy. That we've really connected that way. We've locked arms. We're arm in arm in this thing, and so. What my job is, hey, Coach, hey, what did you see? Hey, Coach, what do you think you're going to go through to fix what needs to be fixed, whatever those elements might be? And here's the thing. We lost by 1 point to the number 3 team in a hostile environment on the road, had the ball. Yeah, some things could have went our way. Yep. But we were right there. Yep. So it's not like we're so far off of this thing. No. It's not like last year was so far off. Yeah. Like we are right there. Yeah, it's just one or two things.
So here's the alternative, and that's why you got to stay in reality. I believe him, but the alternate reality, which you wouldn't hear, would be, yeah, guys, that concerned me. I wasn't around here for these trendy big losses, but there have been some, and I'm on it. And I got a microscope on this thing because we got a lot invested, and we're not letting this thing drop. Don't worry. There's a lot of attention to detail, and we pay a lot of money for these coaches and players and team and fans, and we're going to get it right. Like, that's the alternate reality. So if anybody expected him to not lean into, hey, all the goals are still there, we're locked arm in arm, I would not accuse him of lying, because I truly believe he believes it. Because the alternate would be very, very troubling to hear if he felt like there was something psychologically wrong, and he's only been here a short time. But he's got a lot invested, and I didn't expect to hear anything different than that.
I agree with you. It probably would be different if they got blown out. I imagine he wouldn't be saying, obviously he wouldn't be saying you just lost by 1 point. Everything he said is true. I've been saying the exact same thing. So I don't look at that as him spin doctoring, because everything that he said in my mind is true.
We'll come back with NFL picks against the number and bids, road faves. Should we ride this title wave? There aren't that many, but wait till you hear the stat from the last couple of weeks. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Death, taxes, and beating Michigan every damn year. This is your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We at Rosati Windows think the right way to do business is really pretty simple. You have to be honest, you have to have integrity, you have to care about what you do. Providing a product that we can be proud of, from sales, through manufacturing, through installation, all the way down to when we peel that last piece of film off the window. We're not going to leave your home until everything is right.
Call Rosati Windows today at 777-4806. There's a shocking new government report about the border crisis Sherrod Brown created. According to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, almost 500,000 convicted criminals have entered our country illegally, including nearly 30,000 found guilty of murder and sexual assault, including rape in their home countries. Now they are spread out across America because of Sherrod Brown's policies. But Sherrod Brown says,
I don't hear a lot about immigration from voters.
That's because Sherrod Brown doesn't listen to voters anymore. And while our safety is being jeopardized, Sherrod Brown is making sure illegals get taxpayer-funded benefits, like health care for illegals who get amnesty, Social Security, even COVID relief checks, all paid for by you. 31 years in Washington has changed Sherrod Brown. He's not for us anymore. He's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AmericanCrossroads.org.
Bishop and Friends.
You can't really judge what this team is or not. You know it's talented. Until you're punched in the mouth, you don't really know what you have.
Bishop and Friends.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Is true and approved by the legal department. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Visit njm.com for a quote.
Looking for your next Subaru? At Byers Airport Subaru, we give you options from start to finish. Browse and shop entirely online from the comfort of your home at columbussubaru.com or stop by and visit one of our friendly brand specialists just by the airport.
Right now, you can get a new 2025 Subaru Outback for 2.9% for up to 72 months.
Whether you prefer to click or come in, we've got you covered. Your journey starts at Byers Airport Subaru. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 72 months on 2025 Subaru Outback. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 10/31/24.
The Christmas cash giveaways now at UDF. With UDrive Plus, 1 in 7 can play to win prizes instantly, including $1,000 weekly by buying specially marked items at UDF. No purchase necessary. Visit udrivecontest.com for official rules.
James Laurinaitis for Custom Air. Custom Air is devoted to quality, customer service, and trust. They are always there when you need them, and they deliver on what they promise. That's how they do things. It's the Custom Air way. Custom Air, custom solutions, custom comfort. CustomAirColumbus.com.
Are you ready to unleash the beast? Monster Energy is here to give you the edge this college tailgate season. Loaded with bold flavors, our powerful blend gives you the energy you need to push you beyond your limits. Tune in all season long with Monster, the energy drink of ESPN Radio College Football Tour. Power your performance with a drink that's as hungry for victory as you are. Crack open an ice-cold Monster and dominate your competition. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Grab yours today.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice. NFL picks.
Sponsored by Roosters, a fun casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
All right, Cole. At least we had our heads above water last week.
Yes, you did. You both did. AR, you went 9-5. Matty Ice, he went 8-6. And now you are tied. It's pretty impressive that we're this deep into the season and you both have 42 and 47.
It's no good. If it was 47 and 42,
yes,
that might be impressive.
This is
disappointing.
Right. Don't ever use the word impressive when it comes to this. But we're climbing out of it. I told you I'd give you the stat. The last 2 weeks, road favorites are 12-0 straight up and 12-0 against the spread.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
That's really
perfect. 9-0 last week.
Is that going to change this week in Cleveland? The Bengals being favored over the Browns.
You'll let us know here in a second.
The Browns always give the Bengals hell.
All right, Biddle, you're the co-host of On the Money. We need a little credibility here since they're both sinking beneath 500. Let's start tonight. This is going to be
not last week. We didn't.
Not last week. Correct. All right. Broncos and Saints. Broncos and Bo Nix. They're going to be 2.5-point favorites. This is Thursday Night Football. Spencer Rattler is starting for Derek Carr.
Yeah, Rattler looked okay early last week and then looked rattled. I am going to take Denver. I feel like Sean Payton going into his old stomping grounds.
They did trade him, though.
2.5. Yeah, so he shouldn't be bitter. They might be a little bit. He won them a Super Bowl. He's going to be. They might boo him at first or whatever, or cheer him then boo him. I'm going to take the Broncos minus 2.5.
So no Surtain. That's obviously fairly big.
No Olave.
And I'm going to. Boy, I'll tell you, it's the Rattler effect. Is he better than Nick's?
You're just excited for the intro on Prime Video. I know.
Absolutely.
You love that.
It's so much money spent it so well. All right, I'm going to take Denver as well, less than a field goal.
We have yet another foreign game. Patriots, Jaguars minus 5.5. 9:30 in the morning.
Feels like a lot of points to lay if you're Jacksonville, but they did stay in London.
And that is the home away from home.
So that's the key, and this is the last Doug Peterson game. It just feels like too many points, but I'm going to take the home team in Jacksonville and London and lay the lumber.
I will also take the London Jags minus 5.5.
Let's go to the 1 o'clock slate. We got Battle of the Birds. We got the Seahawks and the Falcons in Atlanta. Falcons 3-point home favorites.
I will take Atlanta at home minus 3. Have a lot of trepidation with that, but I'll take Atlanta minus 3.
So they can't really rush the passer, but I agree they're pretty good at home. But I look at this Seattle team as losing 3 straight games, and they're only a 3-point dog. Something smells fishy about that. And Seattle, I'm going to take the Hawks plus the 3.
Heaviest spread of the week is the Titans finding themselves in Buffalo. Buffalo, 9.5-point favorites.
So normally on a short week, I would abandon Buffalo here. And plus, it was a big win, an emotional win over the Jets. But, you add Cooper. That's a lot of points. But I'm going to actually lay them with Buffalo.
I'm going to take Tennessee. I just feel like they're going to keep this game somewhat close for a while. I think Buffalo will win the game, but I can't get that they're going to win this game by double digits, so I'm going to make the interesting move to bet on the Titans.
The entire state's going to be watching, and if you're not watching, you better be listening to it right here on The Fan. Bengals and Browns. Bengals on the road, 6-point favorites.
I think that's too many points. You could say this is reverse psychology as a Bengal fan, but no. I think that's too many points. I think the Bengals will win, but Cleveland, they're going to be up for this. They have nothing to lose now. I think they're playing at home. That's just too many points. I think the Bengals will win, but give me the Browns to cover.
They're getting Chubb back, so the inspiration there, we'll see how much he affects the game. We don't know. I do worry that everyone in the world is going to take Cincinnati because of what the Browns look like right now. Browns are actually plus 205 on the money line, which is to actually win it outright. But I'm going to take Cincinnati. I think Burrow finally gets it done, and I think they get it done by a touchdown.
This is a fun one. Texans at Green Bay. Green Bay minus 2.5.
Jeez.
Tough one.
Go ahead.
I'm going to actually take the Pack. I think they're playing pretty well right now, less than a field goal. I understand. I think Josh Jacobs finally gets his Lambeau leap.
Yeah, I would take whoever was the home team here. So give me Green Bay minus 2.5. That's going to be a heck of a good game, though.
All right. Shield your eyes from this one. Dolphins and Colts. Colts minus 3 at home.
Oh, jeez. Who are the Dolphins starting at quarterback now? Do we even know? It's not Tua. Is it still Skyler?
Honestly, I don't know where they've been going.
I'll take the Dolphins. I just feel like they're going to bounce back, even though Indianapolis is at home. I will take the 3 points and take the Dolphins.
Yeah, they won last week with Tyler Huntley. I don't know if he's
there you go.
Going to continue that. Is Achane back off the concussion? I don't know. No Jonathan Taylor on the other side. I think Miami at 2-3, they think they could save their season if Tua could come back eventually. I'll take the 3. I think it'll be close.
All right, we got Detroit and Minnesota. AR, I'm curious to see what you got to say about this. Your Vikings are home favorites.
Yeah, you shouldn't be curious because all season long I've done the mental hedge and I'll continue to do it. If I wasn't mental hedging here, I would take the Vikes. I absolutely would. But I'm not because I know if I take them, things go wrong. Goff's been on fire, especially against the blitz. I'm actually going to take the Lions to finally give the Vikes a loss, but you have to understand I've just done this all year.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota coming off a bye. Detroit with that really horrible injury to Hutchinson. Hate to see that. I know we're Buckeye fans, but that was awful to see that. So heck of a good player. Good young man, too. So how are they going to respond to that? Minnesota coming off the bye, playing at home. Give me the Vikes -1.5.
All right, we got NFC East, so everyone's going to make the biggest deal out of this one ever. Eagles -3 going to MetLife against the Giants.
Saquon revenge game. Give me the Eagles. Enough said for me.
Will Sirianni yell at the Giants fans is what I want to know. He yelled at his own fans. I guess I'll take Philadelphia. Both teams are in disarray, though.
Rams and Raiders. This one's going to be in L.A. Rams -6.5.
Give me the Rams -6.5 playing at home.
Kupp is back, correct? I heard something about Cooper Kupp being
If so, I need
back.
to change my fantasy lineup.
Well, check that. I could be wrong.
We know Puka's not back yet.
You know, it's interesting to see the impact Devontae quit on the Raiders, on whether that inspires them at all. I honestly think this is just too many points in a game where I don't trust the Rams, so I'm actually going to take the 6.5.
The two worst teams in the NFL last year, Carolina goes to Washington. Washington's rebounded a lot better than they have, and they're 8-point favorites at home.
Feels weird. Feels like Andy Dalton knocking on the back door here for, getting 8 points, but it's an odd number, but I'm going to take Washington and lay it.
Washington has been a good story. Daniels is legit. That's just too many points for me, even against the terrible Carolina Panthers. I think they can keep it close, presuming Dalton does start, which sounds like he will. Give me Carolina +8.
Super Bowl rematch. Kansas City's going out west. San Francisco -1 at home.
I'll take San Francisco at home. This is going to be an entertaining one. Kansas City's been okay. They didn't look that good against the Bengals, but they're Kansas City. Again, this is one of those I would probably just take the home team. Give me the Niners.
When is a 3-3 team favored over a 5-0 team? When Vegas knows something. I'll take San Fran.
Good call. The ever-changing Jets -2 going to maybe Justin Fields, maybe Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh.
Sounds like it's going to be Russ. We'll talk more about that top of the hour. Devontae in now, must win for the Jets. I'll take New York.
Pittsburgh is an underdog at home against a Jets team that maybe, can get back on track, but they're 2-4. Give me the Steelers at home as a 2-point dog.
Monday night doubleheader. Ravens -3.5 down in Bakerville, Tampa Bay.
I think the Ravens are fantastic on offense. Their defense is maybe not championship caliber, but they might have the best offense in the NFL. I hate to say that, but give me Baltimore to cover that.
They've won 4 straight, and they've covered all of them, so there's no reason I'm going to jump off now. I'll take Baltimore.
And we'll round it out with a little bit of West Coast football. The Chargers are 2.5-point favorites in Arizona.
Sounds like Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to practice today. I don't know if he'll be out of concussion protocol in time. Who knows? Betting on Arizona is a fool's errand, but I'm going to take the Chargers and lay the 2.5.
I'm surprised it's not 3.5. I like that line. Give me, I'm with you, man. Give me the Chargers -2.5.
All right, those are your NFL picks against the number. We come back with a Buckeye Bulletin and more from Ross Bjork from the Buckeye Show last night, talking about the goals available for this team. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
When that alarm clock goes off, Morning Juice comes on. The perfect way to dominate your day or just lay around the house. Morning Juice.
Weekdays at 6.
The Fan.
This year's starting lineup at Honda Marysville is as strong as ever, so come see us.
Choose from Ohio's largest selection of Hondas and get 0% for 60 on any new CRV, HRV, Passport, Pilot, or Ridgeline with the trade.
Honda's built here, Honda's sold here. Honda Marysville. We're closer than you think.
0% with approved credit and 80% of MSRP financed. 2010 or newer trade with KBB appraisal at $2,500 or more. Must take delivery from dealer stock 10/31/24.
Breaking news on this one. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every single night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I get it. But there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. What a concept. It's quick, comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and he has a track record to prove it. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded their medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Friday night in the Buckeye State means only one thing. High school football, baby. Join Ryan Baker and Coach Lee Cochran for Byers Dublin Subaru High School Overtime.
Friday night at 9:30.
Your home of all things football. The Fan.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream. But it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online. So your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another furnace breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day furnace installation.
All right, Buckeye Bulletin. We were talking during the break. I said to Dave, like, who does Oregon play this week? Coming off their emotional win over Ohio State. They have to go to West Lafayette, Indiana to play a Friday night game.
Yeah.
So short week on the road at Purdue. And, you know, it didn't work against Iowa. Like, if you bet against Iowa after they lost to Ohio State, thinking they'd be mentally and physically beat up, which they probably were anyway, but they actually did cover and win the next week. Oregon is lane 29 on the road.
So it's ticked down a little bit. Scotty Vegas was saying it was like 30 and a half or 30, and Scotty was saying like he thought taking Purdue was smart because not only coming off a win over Ohio State, but like such an emotional win, such a great win for them, one of the best wins they've ever had, maybe their best home win ever when you consider it was a 2 versus 3 game. Could there be a letdown effect? And normally I'd say, well, this Purdue team is trash. It doesn't matter. But
they are 1-5.
They actually showed signs, not defensively. Their offense finally showed signs of life against a good, solid Illinois team. Lost by a point, but Illinois was heavily favored in that game, and Purdue gave them. So maybe, no one's saying Purdue's going to win the game, but we know strange things can happen at Ross Aid Stadium, right? So maybe a
29-point head start.
The spoiler makers can cover that spread. Yeah.
Boy, that is weird, and they should have beaten Illinois. Illinois came back in the very last seconds and got that game, then won in overtime. Hard to back a team, though, that gave up 52 to Wisconsin, but I do feel like Oregon, I'll tell you what, I've got them on like Bama Vandy watch, right? Because same thing happened to Bama. They beat Georgia, lose to Vandy. Oregon beats Ohio State, then they got to go to West Lafayette.
Vandy's good, though.
What would you what would you rather have? Purdue getting like 38.5 at Oregon or getting 29 at home?
Normally you would say it's not worth 9 points. Maybe in this one I would make an exception. At night at Ross Aid? Oh, come on, man. On a Friday night? I mean, has Oregon ever beaten Purdue at Ross 8 on a Friday night? I think not. You think they're just going to start now? They probably will.
Backing a 1-5 team does not feel great.
No, it doesn't. By the way, I don't know how tomorrow's going to go. I've been liking the Friday night football. Yeah. And a lot of it starts like after high school football. And when people say it hurts high school football, I can't imagine if you're into your local high school football team that you're going to skip going to a high school football game that you really want to see to watch, like Purdue and Oregon. Now, if it's your favorite team, it might be different. But, like, I don't buy that having a couple of college football games on a Friday night, especially when one of them starts at 10 o'clock, affects high school football. I think both can coexist. We've had some really good college football games on Friday night so far this season.
All right, Bucks don't have to worry about that. They could watch if they want to. But here we have Ohio State on their bye week, Ross Bjork from the Buckeye Show. And, of course, and this is reality, that this certainly wasn't the last game of the season or really anything from a record standpoint that could completely impact things today.
The thing about this year is it's a 12-team playoff. Mm-hmm. There's still a runway to play for the Big Ten championship.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Have a rematch against that team. So the goals are still in front of us.
Yeah, listen, everybody knows that there's a 12-team playoff and nobody's eliminated. And we talked about earlier that this could work for them. Yeah, if you want to spin it that way, you can spin it. It's easily done. There's no definitive statements about Ohio State today other than they got hurt on Saturday night defensively. They really did. They were not tackling well. They took bad angles situationally. I didn't love you're not giving up a touchdown on 3rd and 9 with 1:25 left at half when the team's at midfield. That is an absolute cardinal sin. You give up 3 to Atticus Sappington again. You do not give up 7 over the top or 6.
It was a comedy of errors on defense. They checked all the wrong boxes, like you just said, Anthony. Like, no pressure on the quarterback.
Cover 0,
check.
man.
Okay, if you're not getting pressure on the quarterback, at least, right, you're not going to get beat deep, right? No pressure on the quarterback and getting beat deep. Poor tackling. I mean, it was just like everything that could go wrong went wrong, and still, Ohio State still should have won the game. But we're seeing this. It's just a trend. It's an absolute trend in big games that not only are they falling just short, but the offense has to do more. I get it. It's not just on the defense, but it's mostly on the defense. I mean, we talked about, and I'm guilty as charged here. We talked about this defense had the chance to be elite. I was saying foolish things like comparing it. Maybe it can be as good as the 1996 secondary. Man, that might be the dumbest thing I've ever said. The 1996 secondary had Sean Springs. It was so good. Antoine Winfield came off the bench as a sophomore. Basically was a starter. He was the nickel back. Ty Howard, Rob Kelly, Damon Moore. I can't believe I compared this secondary to that secondary. Now, Caleb Downs, I still think, has All-American potential, but the rest of the guys really need to step up. Denzel Burke was the most outspoken about all, talking the talk. He needs to start walking the walk, or Jermaine Matthews is going to have his spot.
And that 96 defense you spoke of only gave up 13 points in that loss to Michigan. It wasn't like they were giving up 30. Like, that was
on the off. We remember the spring slips. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. But if you give up 13 points to Michigan, you should win the exactly.
I've always said that because I covered. I was there, knee deep in. I was there, Sam Kinison, and so I know. That's the popular opinion. That's what they like us to believe. But I was there.
It did take the air out of the stadium, as you know. Though
it made it 9-7. Right in the third
Ohio
quarter.
State. I hate to even bring this up. Ohio
still
State
leading the game.
You're right. I mean, they were still up 9-7 at home. They shouldn't have panicked, but man, they had 3 chances to score touchdowns in the first half. They had 1st and goal 3 different times, settled for field goals. So up 9-0 at halftime. Michigan gets that long touchdown to open the third quarter. But you're right. That was on the offense. The defense. And there has been a change in college football. Look at all the big games. There's more scoring in college football because of the rules. There just is. I get that. Ohio State's defense has to be markedly better. And Anthony, I come back to this. How are they all of a sudden going to become a good tackling defense when they don't practice tackling in practice? You're not going to all of a sudden be like trying to be good at golf, but you're not going to practice golf. How does that work? Find me anything in sports.
Watching YouTube videos?
I was going to say, right. Find me anything in sports, seriously, that you can be good at without actually practicing. And practicing thudding up in practice is not the same thing as tackling to the ground. They can thud up great. Can they tackle to the ground? Not consistently enough.
The angles were poor on Saturday night, too. And I really did think that Latham was going to take that 2-point block back. In fact, honestly, there's the difference in the game if you want to go that far. But you're right, poor tackling, that's for sure. You don't want to see any more of that. By the way, when you said that, like some Caddyshack line jumped up to me. It was like when you said, but a lot of complaints already, fooling around on the course, bad language, smoking grass, poor caddying. You guys want to get fired? You want to be replaced by golf carts? Just keep it up. All right, we come back. Top of the hour, Sports Center update. We'll get into a deep dive. You will hear from Justin Fields. Does he sound like a guy who knows the writing is on the wall about being replaced by a vet? Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hello. I am a serious announcer hired to deliver a serious announcement. Get an Apex Pros winter tune-up for your furnace right now for only $29. Notice we are simply giving you the facts. Just $29 to make sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming Ohio winter. We know how you enjoy our usual fun and funny commercials. Hello? Beg pardon? Well, I see no reason to bring my mother into this. Good day to you, sir. Where was I? Oh, yes. A $29 tune-up will make sure your furnace runs safely and warmly all winter. That's serious. I'm serious. That's why we're not doing the usual that you've come to expect from Apex Pros. None of this or this nonsense. $29 for a furnace tune-up from Apex Pros. The pros who knows? Knows? Is that really how you say it? The pros who...
Apex Pros, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. We often hear businesses say that they are, quote, family-owned and operated, which leads you to think, how often are the owners of the company involved in day-to-day operations? Well, when it comes to Newman Roofing, I can personally tell you that I met with Tim. I met with his daughters. They have 4 family members of Newman Roofing overseeing the different divisions of the company, ensuring that an excellent customer service experience is going to be provided to you every time. Folks, I can personally testify they were great with my wife and I, and they will do the same for you. With Newman Roofing, their family focuses on every detail, and it allows them to deliver that white glove experience, not just for me, but for everyone, that you're not going to get with those larger corporations. 32 years in business, 3 generations in the roofing industry. They can do it all, and they will take care of you. So before those winter storms hit, have Newman Roofing come out and take a look. Whether it's a repair or replacement, Newman has you covered at 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
At Baths R Us, we're terrible roofers. We stink at installing siding. And don't ever call us for your kitchen remodel. But if you want a stunning, beautiful bathroom makeover in just 2 or 3 days, now that's when you want to call us. See, unlike most contractors these days, we offer only one service, bathroom remodeling. We don't spread ourselves thin by doing roofing or siding and a bunch of other stuff. Nope. At Baths R Us, we dedicate every company resource into mastering the craft of bath transformations. It's why we're the Midwest's biggest 5-star family-owned bathroom company. And it's why we have the happiest customers. Just check out our Google reviews. Baths R Us. We're terrible roofers, but we're awesome bathroom remodelers. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play, like Bear Dynasty interior paint, their most durable one-coat hide paint ever. From a team color statement wall to a fan cave, complete with a mural honoring Nick Saban's 17-year dynasty.
Hey, I like that idea.
Nothing beats Bear Dynasty interior paint. It's everything you need all in one can.
Defend your game time with Bear and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Valid only when tinted to colors from the Bear Dynasty and Marquee Interior One-Coat Hide Color Collection.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartimus. Ohio State may be idle this week, but Saturday's college football slate provides us with 3 ranked versus ranked matchups. First of all, in Big Ten country, number 24 Michigan, they're going to travel to Champaign to play number 22 Illinois. And when we go down south, it's the third Saturday in October, so number 7 Alabama will play number 11 Tennessee. And the big one this weekend, number 1 Texas, they welcome in number 5 Georgia as they have their first big-time SEC showdown. Also in the NFL tonight, the Thursday Night Football gods of years past have reappeared as Amazon is delivering us the Broncos and the Saints. Derek Carr is out for the second week in a row, and Spencer Rattler is going to once again start for NOLA. And on Sunday, you don't need me to tell you this, but the Browns and the Bengals are going to lock horns, and you better believe we have that one right here on the Fan. That'll be a 1 p.m. kick. This update is brought to you by Dormar Heating and Air Conditioning. Need an emergency repair? Dormar can be there today, guaranteed. Visit them at dormarheating.com.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for A Deeper Dive.
Sponsored by Maxima Concrete. Visit MaximaConcrete.com today to schedule your free estimate.
All right, final hour of the program. Kevin Mawae, Hall of Fame center from the Jets, 233. He's up in Canton this weekend. By the way, I'll be at on the Plaza party. Fan will be out there tonight. Probably hang out probably about 5 to 6:30. We'll do some trivia. We'll look for our fan tent on the Plaza, certainly on the east side there where the party's going on for the Jackets. And if you stop by, you can probably take some trivia and take home some outstanding prizes, CBJ-wise. So hang out, join us. We'll talk hockey and hounds. All right, Justin Fields. Boy, it just feels like the Steelers are still not feeling they feel like they're hitting a ceiling with Fields. And every time you hear Tomlin talk, it was okay. And I was okay with him not anointing him as the starter forever. And this is a fluid thing. And you get a veteran back. And it just feels like, and you're the resident Steeler fan in here, Cole. Do you know for a fact, has he officially been demoted?
I don't believe so. And I think the comments we're about to play are just based on the fact that there is a QB debate to begin with.
So there's been no official announcement, I guess. It really sounds to me, after listening to this, that the Steelers are going to start Russell Wilson, a quarterback this week against the Jets at home, which would mean Fields, who led them to a 4-2 record as a starter, would go back to being the backup. I'll let you hear this because he's answering questions about what everyone feels is his pending demotion back to QB2.
I don't think I played, good enough. If I'm being real with you. If I'm being real with myself, I think if, I did play well enough, I don't think there would be any sort of playing who should not. So at the end of the day, we got a few wins. Of course, I'm glad about that, but there's areas that I could be better at, and I'm just gonna continue to work on those and continue to get better.
All right, busy locker room. I'll paraphrase it. You heard, but you heard most of it. What was interesting to me was that he said to the media, I don't think I've played well enough. That if this wouldn't even be a debate if I would have played better. So either he already knows and he's taking the high road and he's being a team guy here, because there's nothing that he said there would make me feel like he's campaigning to hang in there, because he talked like he didn't do enough to keep the job and he didn't make enough plays, and how frustrating that has to be for a kid who's accounted for 10 total touchdowns in 6 games and sparks them with his legs when the offensive line doesn't know what in the world they're doing.
Yeah, and I thought he handled that extremely maturely. Very impressed with how he handled that. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I was going to say. Like, it'd be one thing if the Steelers were like, listen, like, we've got this dynamite offensive line. We've got these 2 stud receivers, and he just can't throw the ball. Are we really putting that on Justin? I do think Russ will throw the ball better. But I've watched the Steelers this year. There's times that Justin has escaped when it looked like nothing was there. We've seen that at Ohio State. It's no surprise. Or it looks like, okay, that guy probably has the angle on him. No, Justin gets past him with no problems. He's got that insane burst. So I think that's going to hurt the Steelers. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, Russ does have the Super Bowl pedigree. But he just looked like a shell of his former self the last couple of years. So we'll see. Yeah, but you're right. It did seem like inevitable that they were going to eventually go back to Russ, because they just never – at least from Tomlin, you did hear some stories that some of his teammates, maybe some of the assistant coaches were starting to think, okay, we might have our guy. I don't know. It sounds like a lot changed last week, but I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about that. I'm definitely biased because I like Justin Fields, and I still think he's going to be a solid NFL quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-pro. I won't even say he's going to be necessarily what you would consider a good starting quarterback, but I think he can be solid, and we'll see. Maybe Russ can get the most out of this offense.
Tomlin played the Raiders last week, and who had Devontae Adams, who had already quit on his team, knowing he would be a Jet. There was no Jacoby Myers, and so there wasn't much threat against that defense. And so maybe he feels like that Wilson will hit the open receivers that Fields is not. And so because I said to Cole earlier today, because a lot of us are thinking, okay, on paper, this doesn't make a ton of sense. And it doesn't make a ton of sense from many angles, which is he's younger. He has presumably a much better future, and the team's winning, and he's been the quarterback. And they're 4-2. So if I said all that, if you didn't know who the players were, what the team was, or anything, if I told you that, this team was 4-2, coming off a win, and the other quarterback's in his mid-30s, and this kid's a young guy that you're trying to decide whether he's worth paying down the road, you'd say, well, that's idiotic. And I said to Cole earlier, boy, Tomlin's not an idyot.
No, he's not.
He's not. This is not a guy who doesn't know what he's doing. And so I think what he's saying is, we're not going to achieve our goals if we're throwing for 125 yards a game. We're not. Now, I would take a win as a win. They lost to Dallas close. That's not good anymore. And they lost to the Colts in a tough one on the road. But other than that, the guy ripped off 3 straight wins to start the year, 2 on the road, and the defense certainly had so much to do with that. This is Mike Tomlin telling you, I can't win games 18-10 all season long.
At least can't get to where they want to go. Yeah, and it's interesting. The Vegas odds, I guess the Ohio odds as well. How long is that going to be in our lexicon? We're still going to say the Vegas odds. But Vegas had them as over-under 8.5 wins. 8.5 wins entering the season. So they had to have a losing record for you to lose that bet if you took the under. So, or if you took the over. So, yeah, I think they're going to. It's going to be interesting. I don't think this is a good idea because if Russ does improve the passing game, I don't think it's going to be enough to counteract what Fields was able to bring from the QB run. Do we think all of a sudden they're going to turn into a good passing attack? I don't think so. Will they be better? Probably.
Yeah,
How much better? How much better? And will Russ be able to escape? Not as well as Fields, I'm not saying, but it's not like he's a statue. He's not what he used to be. But will they still have that threat of the QB run, or is that going to completely go away? I don't know.
All right, so let's get somebody else to weigh in on this, and we'll do a 2-time Super Bowl champ who knows a lot about Pittsburgh, and Ben Roethlisberger weighed in on this decision.
I thought Justin actually played a good game. He went on some spurts there where he had a couple bad throws in a row, but all in all, I would absolutely not even think about taking him out of the game right now. I would keep him in there, and even if he has a bad game, I would keep him in there because right now they're rolling. Yeah, they lost 2. They got this win, but I think he's playing well enough. I think he's doing enough. You saw with his legs especially, making things happen, creating. I thought he played well. It's good to know what you have at the backup, and Russ is there if you need him. I just think what you're going to get from Russ is more pocket presence to throw the ball down the field, but you're not going to get that extend the play like Justin does because he's a running back there when he decides to run. He's a really, really talented runner as well.
It's a wild trade-off going back to the vet and a guy that may be able to throw it more. I don't know if he can throw it a lot better. We'll find out. Tomlin knows a lot more than I do, especially about his team and about Russ and where they are. But they've got a bye week coming up in a couple weeks, and they've got these 2 home games against the Jets and the Giants before their bye week. I mean, theoretically, if this flops and they lose this one to the Jets, if Russ doesn't look decent, does he go back to Fields against the Giants? Probably not. Like, once he makes this move, and here's the thing, Russ has not played very much. So what are you going to, you only judge him on 4 quarters, but you let Fields get judged on 6 games?
What if it's really bad, though? I think you're right.
If it's really bad,
if they lose and Russ doesn't play well, but it's close, I agree. They're not just going to give him 1 game. But if it goes off the rails, I could see that happening because Fields is 4-2. They at least know what they have in Fields. And if Russ is rusty,
they think they do. Yeah,
and he's the quarterback we saw the last couple of years. Not anywhere. We know he's not going to be Russ. That's an MVP candidate. But can he be, more in that direction than he's been recently? I don't know. And then, as you've mentioned, I mean, he's going to be rusty, you would think, or he'll step right in there and give the Steelers exactly what they need. It's no risk for them. They got him for nothing. They basically got Fields for nothing. Their GM does a great job.
All right, let's let the tiebreaker go to the former Georgia receiver and Pittsburgh Steeler George Pickens when he was asked about which quarterback.
I know the media in the world want to pay me out as like a selfish guy, but honestly, I'm really like the most unselfish guy in the world. So to me, bro, honestly, it really don't matter. They both good players. I know they both got two different playing styles, but they both good players, and they both get engineer victory. I mean, really, that's and me coming from Georgia. That's like one of the biggest things I only care about. To be honest with you, winning. I think that's really one of the reasons why Devontae was getting salty or angry, because not only was he not getting the ball, plus losing, everybody's mad. You know what I mean? So they both engineer victory. So yeah, they both good cues.
So much for a tiebreaker there. He played it right down the middle.
There was a soundbite that you had of him being asked which guy he wanted. And he was like, I don't think he was going to go there. I thought that's the one we were going to have. But
he kind of was. That probably was what he was asked.
No, but he was actually asked direct. Was he asked directly at the beginning which guy he wanted?
Yeah. And he just both sides.
Yeah, he's like, they're both.
I thought, no, that's fine. I thought maybe they followed it up with, okay, you got to choose, and maybe they didn't.
I'm also not convinced that he only cares about winning, considering he flushes his Instagram profile every time he only gets one catch.
And anybody, whether or not you're talking about how tough you are or how cool you are or how humble you are, if you're doing any of those things, you're probably not those things.
Especially humble. Humble people don't call themselves humble.
Right. We always use, I love Troy Smith. Troy, if you're listening, I love you. But we used to kind of chuckle. We loved covering Troy, but he used to say things like, my humility keeps me humble. It's like, okay, you're not very humble is my point, right? You're just saying things like that. So that's just something, if you're talking about how tough you are, you're probably, I don't know one really tough guy that loves to go out and talk about how tough he is. Usually those guys are not very tough.
Or the people who go out of their way to say, I don't care if people jump in my mentions while you're reading them. You just told us.
Yep.
It's certainly they've had their divas. And now Pickens he had 3 catches last week on 8 targets. 3 the week before, 7 the week before, 5-2 against Denver to start the year, and then 6 against Atlanta. He had a pretty good start to the year. He's still averaging 14 yards a catch. So he's just not getting any. I don't think he doesn't have a touchdown this year.
This might be good for him. I don't know if it's good for the Steelers.
It might be, right.
I mean, you would have to think that whatever happens, not for sure, because, again, the offensive line has not been good, and other than Pickens, they're not great at receiver, although they have Roman Wilson back now. They've got some other guys that can get the job done. But I don't know. I think they will improve as far as passing. I just don't know how much, Anthony.
Cole, what are the odds that Najee has another beast game?
I like the Jets defense, so I'm going to say not quite, but he has impressed me this year. And I wasn't particularly thrilled with him because, and you mentioned that the success of the GM. The GM has done one thing very poorly, and that's draft. Jaylen Warren last year looked better than Najee Harris, but Najee Harris is playing pretty well this season, so I got to say I'm pleased with that.
It helps when you're able to trade with the Bears. The Bears should only be allowed to trade with the Panthers because they rip off the Panthers, and the Steelers rip off the Bears. How'd you guys trade Chase Claypool for Joey Porter Jr.? You got the first pick of the second round for a rental of a bad wide receiver thanks to Ryan Poles. Then he gives you guys Justin Fields for free.
Speaking of a guy who's trying to stay humble but is having trouble doing it, there is a guy who says, forget about that guy for Heisman. I should be the Heisman. You'll hear that next. Rothman Ice on the Fan.
This is a friendly reminder that hockey is back, and it's awesome. Ice hockey? You're listening to Blue Jackets Week, the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
From the mind of a 2-foot-tall talking spokes puppet comes this year's biggest challenge. It's time for Bob's Dare to Compare, the hottest game show on TV that asks, what happens when you compare Bob's to the competition? You get style. You get quality. You get beeps and boops and dings and whomps. And thousands of dollars in savings. Everyone's a winner when you dare to compare with Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in store or at mybobs.com to play now.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers, like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Hello, I am a serious announcer hired to deliver a serious announcement. Get an Apex Pros winter tune-up for your furnace right now for only $29. Notice we are simply giving you the facts. Just $29 to make sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming Ohio winter. We know how you enjoy our usual fun and funny commercials. Hello? Beg pardon? Well, I see no reason to bring my mother into this. Good day to you, sir. Where was I? Oh, yes. A $29 tune-up will make sure your furnace runs safely and warmly all winter. That's serious. I'm serious. That's why we're not doing the usual that you've come to expect from Apex Pros. None of this or this nonsense. $29 for a furnace tune-up from Apex Pros. The pros who knows? Is that really how you say it? The pros who...
Apex Pros, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV?
Yeah?
Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad.
Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube.
Search 971 The Fan.
Do it now.
By the time you're finished listening to this Pepsi Zero Sugar, you'll be 15 seconds closer to kickoff. Stock up now. Bengals game day is so close, you can almost taste it. Bengals watching. Better with Pepsi.
Welcome, Columbus, to the all-new Toyota Direct. We've expanded our showroom, enhanced our service with 6 lanes, 85 bays, and 65 techs. Enjoy the new lounges with all of the comforts and extras. And now get 0% for up to 72 months on 100% of all-new 24 and 25 Toyotas. Come see your all-new Toyota Direct, the area's #1 Toyota dealer.
0% for 72 on a new 24 Tundra with approved credit. Max financed MSRP on vehicle. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock by 10/31/24. See dealer for details.
Hey, it's Anthony. Do more with your money at Tel-Ohio Credit Union. If you know Tel-Ohio Choice Checking, you know all the perks that come with your account. Cash in your benefits by setting up an account today. Find out more at telohio.org.
Certain restrictions apply. Tel-Ohio is open to all in Central and Southwestern Ohio. Federally insured by NCUA.
Just how liberal could Sherrod Brown be? What are his actual votes?
Well, he backed bills to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports and let transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms.
Very liberal.
Brown supported allowing children to receive puberty blockers and even sex change surgery.
Super liberal.
And worse, Brown even voted to allow late-term partial birth abortions, a procedure where the baby is partially delivered alive. That's right. Brown's votes for partial birth abortion are in the congressional record. And Sherrod Brown voted to allow this terrible procedure, not once, not twice, but 6 different times over 8 years.
That's radical liberal.
Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's just way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, sunny with a high of 62. Not quite as cold tonight, but still cold enough for the winter jacket. Lows in the low to mid 30s. Tomorrow afternoon, we are up near 70. And then on Saturday, we're looking at sunny skies, high 71. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Rothman Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by the Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, a little Bet365 time, because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar, you can see for yourself when you sign up today, because you'll get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. And I will tell you, because I'm always looking at the Super Boost on Bet365. So Yanks at guards. If you think the guards could just win the game, money line the guards, and Stephen Kwan gets a hit, which sounds correlated to me, They'll up it from plus 160 to plus 350. So that's the super boost. The other ones that are fun are like Rocchio gets 2 hits, and that's plus 750 on milestones. You have J-Ram getting a home run and the Guardians win at 10-1. That's a bet boost. If you want to do a boosted 2-leg parlay and say Judge hits a home run and Shohei hits a home run, 22-1.
I like the 10-1 with J-Ram and the Tribe to win.
Yeah, so you can do that. Now, tonight, if you want to do, I've got my eye on something Buffalo at CBJ tonight at home. I'll take Zach with 2 shots on goal, at least 2 shots on goal. I'll take Tage Thompson with at least 3 shots on goal, and I'll take both teams to score at least 2 goals. If I do that on a same-game parlay on Bet365, I get a 30% boost, so it takes it from plus 115 to plus 250. So that's what I'm doing. You got anything that's catching your eye?
Yeah, I'll go with the NFL game tonight. I like the Broncos on the road, even though they're given 2.5. Going to New Orleans, where Sean Payton made a name for himself, won a Super Bowl. I think he's going to go in there and, now, as you said, I mean, he can't play the game himself, but I have a tough time imagining he's going to go in there and not have his team ultra prepared for this one, considering his history there with New Orleans. Furthermore, it's not just that. Spencer Rattler looked rattled throughout the second half last week. I thought he started off pretty good last week, but then he did not end well. So, rookie quarterback making his second start. Give me the Broncos minus 2.5.
At Bet365, it's the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. Download the Bet365 app today. Got to be 21 or older. Must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
Colorado star Travis Hunter believes that you should avert your eyes to Ashton Genty's 1,000 yards on 95 carries. He was on a podcast, the Out of Pocket with RG3, and they asked him, and they were kind of saying, you're probably the guy. Don't you want to tell us that you're the guy? Here we go.
I don't think that you can win it. I definitely think you can win it.
I don't know who was there. I mean, y'all see Ashton Genty, but it's not like we haven't seen a running back that's good.
All right.
We haven't seen a player that plays both ways, and I'm gonna keep saying that. It's like he have 95 carries.
Yeah.
For 1,000
yards. Yeah.
If I had 95 catches, how much yards you think I have? Okay. So I'm trying to tell him, like, if I had 95 targets on defense, what you think I'll have?
Right. Oh.
If I had 95 catches on offense, what you think I'll have? So I try to take, like, he got double the touches I got on the offensive side of the ball, and I still have defensive stats that's still crazy, and we only in week 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's, first of all, if you're a Boise fan, you'd be saying, like, for flat out, Genty should be the guy. And I'm so impressed with him. I don't know how you couldn't be. But right now, if I had a vote, there's a long way to go still, I would give it to Hunter. He reminds me a lot. I hear him compared to this guy and that guy. He reminds me a lot of Chris Gamble. We don't hear that comparison nearly enough. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Chris Gamble and what Chris Gamble was able to do here. Chris Gamble playing corner, playing wide receiver, returning kicks, returning punts. He did it all. And I think Travis Hunter is the best overall player in college football. But what Genty's doing is so impressive.
Here's why he won't win it. If Ashton Genty breaks Barry Sanders' single-season FBS rushing record, he's getting it. He's getting it. And even if Travis Hunter is who he is, which is two-way player and a phenomenal talent.
And now he's banged up. He's got that shoulder.
Yeah. Yes, and that's going to matter, too.
Yep.
The other part, so if he breaks, because I know Genty's on pace. Genty has more yards than Barry Sanders had through 6 games, probably about 100. So he's definitely on pace to break it. The other part of the equation, which is interesting, is that Hunter basically added that kind of this dislike or hate for Deion Sanders might affect him, block out the Heisman. A lot of people that vote, a lot of media people that vote. There's a lot more voters than you think, by the way, that vote.
Yeah.
There are a lot out there, and so
that might hurt Shador more. No, I mean, I can see that. I can see, even if it wouldn't be a lot, I could see like a couple guys here and there that just don't like Deion, even if they thought it was like
anti-Deion bias.
Not that they would think that Travis Hunter was one, but if they needed a tiebreaker, they might go with Genty because they just don't like Deion. I could see that. I don't think that would make a huge difference. But yeah, Deion does have his share of haters. There's no doubt about that. I personally like the guy. I personally like him. I can see why people don't. I can see why he rubs people the wrong way. I tell you what, I saw a piece the other day. He's been worth about $21 million net to Colorado overall. ticket sales, merchandise, enrollment. They had like 24,000 more students to apply. Not that actually enrolled. 24,000 more 1 year to the next applied, not enrolled, applied. He's been worth $21 million. He's been there a little over a year and a half since he was hired. He's been worth $21 million to Colorado. Anyway, I always liked Deion, probably because he played for my Reds back in the day. I always liked him.
Is that a coincidence that they just mentioned that number 21? Come on. It has to be worth the exact number of his famous jersey number.
And I have to go back. Maybe it is 20. Maybe I'll have to go back and look at the story. But it was, it's whoever does stuff like that for a living. I think it was in Sports Business Journal. I have to go back and look. But right around there, he's been worth his number in millions to the Buffaloes.
Yeah, I oscillate back and forth with him. I think he's a week-to-week liker, kind of like I can't take the arrogance and cockiness. I kind of go back and forth because there's times where I really like what he has to say, and there's times that I can't stand this just arrogance that's dripping from the team, the program, him. But there are other times where he's old school and he has a lot of good things to say. So I think he's that kind of personality that you're just like, okay, in small doses, Deion is tolerable.
Well, he used to crack me up when he was at Florida State. When he was coming out of the draft. Remember, he said, like, they were saying Detroit was going to take me. I told them, you're going to have to put me on layaway. You're going to have to, layaway. You're going to have to pay me so much money. So he ended up going to his Falcons instead.
It's a hard ask for someone to like him 100% of the time, but right. I agree with you that he is polarizing for good reasons. All right, when we come back, Kevin Mawae, Gold Jacket Thursday, the former Seahawk, Jet, and Titan, and his ride to Canton. He's there this weekend. Will join us next. Rothman Ice and the Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. And when it comes to fall, we often think of those cooler temperatures, the trees changing colors, the bonfires in the evening, and of course, football season. We less often think of those home projects that we've been neglecting or failed to finish up before those harsh Ohio winter hits. If you need to have your roof inspected or it's on your to-do list, you can ensure that Newman Roofing will get you ready for those harsh winter storms. The team over at Newman has you covered, and they're family-owned and locally operated right here in Central Ohio since 1992. The 3 generations that have been in the roofing industry, they have the expertise to handle any issue you may be facing with your roof. Folks, they took care of my roof. They did a fantastic job. They're the experts, and they will give you the white glove treatment because when your name is on it, it just means more. So if you need your roof repaired or replaced this fall, call the company you can trust. That's Newman Roofing at newmanroofing.com or 614-NEW-ROOF.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just a slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change wants you to breathe out your oil change-anxiety. And breathe in automotive peace. Visit us today.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited truck month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
Get your game room game day ready with Billiards Plus. Pool tables, shuffleboard tables, and games the whole family will enjoy. Now's the time to get your name on a pool table before the holiday rush. Plus, top-of-the-line grills still in stock. Shop Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin. Voss Brothers Power Equipment, where you get the right lawn and garden equipment for the job. Voss Brothers Power Equipment, where you'll find pros who know their stuff, who don't give you the runaround. Visit them at their Powell location on Sawmill Road for all your John Deere equipment needs, like one of their John Deere XUV 835M Gator utility vehicles. If you need power equipment, you need Voss Brothers Power Equipment. Come on in and get to know them by name at their Powell location on Sawmill Road. Voss Brothers Power Equipment, delivering enjoyment in mowing since 1989.
When an orthopedic injury or condition gets in the way of life, there is nothing more important than finding a physician you can trust. At Orthopedic One, you'll find Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts, ready to listen to your concerns and work with you toward the best possible outcome. In fact, more people trust Orthopedic One than any other practice in Central Ohio. Start with the specialists. Start with orthopedic1.com.
The season may be winding down, but there's still time to make the most of Buckeye Lake. At Buckeye Lake Marina, we have year-end deals on boats, accessories, and more to get you ready for next year's adventures. Looking to upgrade? The Buckeye Lake Marina staff is there to help you find the perfect boat at unbeatable prices. Buckeye Lake Marina has a long list of satisfied customers and want you to be the next. Don't wait. Sail into savings at Buckeye Lake Marina before the year ends and find the boat that's just right for you. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for more.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Gold Jacket Thursday.
All righty, welcome back in to Rothman and Ice. You know, bringing you knowledge of the greatest to ever play the game of football was my goal in starting the Gold Jacket Thursdays. And today I'll take you in the trenches with a guy who was the Seattle Seahawks second-round draft pick back in 1994, but over the next 16 seasons developed into one of the greatest centers in league history. Class of 2019, he's back in Canton this weekend visiting his bust, maybe polishing it up and doing a lot of awesome things. Pro Football Hall of Famer Kevin Mawae. Kevin, it's an honor. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing great, Anthony. Man, it's so great to be back in Canton, and thank you for having me on your show.
When they told you about the residency program and, hey, they wanted you to spend another weekend in football heaven, what was your reaction?
Oh, there's no hesitation. I know they talked about this early on when they were just thinking about the idea. Asked if I'd ever be interested in do it, and it was not even a question. I was like, absolutely, and kept seeing all these old-timers come through. I was like, when do I get my chance? And so here I am.
Great. I want to take you back and take our listeners back. Switching from guard to center, why did it happen, and how do you feel your career was different because of it?
Oh, well, I was actually drafted to play center. At the time, Seattle had a 12-year vet, Ray Donaldson, who was on the roster. They knew he was either going to retire or whatever, and so they brought me in to just be an understudy. And then we had some guys get injured. A guard went down during training camp, so I ended up becoming the second-team guard. And then third week of the season, Bill Hitchcock was the starting guard. He hurt his back in the middle of the game, and I took over, and that was it. I mean, I'll play anything you want me to play as long as I'm on the field playing and not on the bench. And I think by my third year is when Seattle felt comfortable enough for me to take over the center spot, and the rest was history. But it was always my natural position. I played in high school. It's what I was signed to LSU to play. Ended up playing a bunch of different positions at LSU for the same reasons. But I knew that spot was going to be my number one spot.
I think it's easy, Kevin, for fans and media to think that it's only time with successful teams that shape a player. What did the early years in Seattle do for you?
It was tough. We were a very average team at the time, and the players I felt at the time were happy with being average. But my love for the game and wanting to be the best I could be is what kind of drove me anyways. I think the best season we had when I was in Seattle was 8-8. And guys were not disappointed about it. But my drive was to be on a winning team. I came from LSU. I was there for 5 losing seasons, the worst stretch of seasons in the history of the school. And I was like, man, I'm ready to win. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of being average. I want to be on a team that wants to win. And so that's just kind of, it just drove me to want to be better, to make myself marketable when free agency came around and stuff like that. And that's what ended up happening. Ended up with the Jets. We went to the AFC Championship game, won three division titles in the 8 years I was there. And so it was just it was an inner drive. Just wanted to be the best I could be. And I wanted to be surrounded by people that wanted to be the best as well.
We were visiting on a Gold Jacket Thursday with one of the best to ever snap a football and play this game. 8 Pro Bowl appearances, first-team All-Pro a half a dozen times, All AFC 5 times, and he was on the NFL All-Decade team of the 2000s. Kevin Mawae is with us. 4 years into your career, you mentioned that you're playing in an AFC title game as a New York Jet. When you think about that time of your career, are they just phenomenal memories, or do they have a twinge of what might have been?
No, I had great memories. I mean, I played as the Jets for 8 years. I went from one of the smallest media markets in the country to the number one media market in the world. I played for one of the greatest coaches that ever coached the game with Bill Parcells. Had great teammates. I mean, it was the right move for me from a business standpoint, but for my career, it was also the smart move and the right move. And I loved every moment that I was there. Had some great teammates. I got blocked for Curtis Martin, who became a Hall of Famer. You know, when Parcells paid me the money he did to be a free agent center there, everybody thought he was crazy for paying an interior lineman what they paid me at the time. And but I told him, I said, I'm gonna make good on this. I told Scott Pioli and Mike Tannenbaum, who were in the personnel department at the time, said, I'm gonna make you guys look like geniuses on this move.
Kevin Mawae is with us. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it 177 straight games that you played?
It was.
Yeah.
It was 177 before I got hurt and I tore my tricep. And so I think at the time it was the longest consecutive start streak for any active player in the NFL at the time. Or maybe it was I think I was second to Brett Favre at the time. And, I tore my tricep and it ended that season in 2005 for me. But I bounced back and got 4 more years in.
Yeah. All right. The best story you have to tell me, Kevin, is your snapping hand, your right-handed guy, kind of mangled or tangled in a face mask. And everyone would say, well, this is it. This is his bread and butter. This is like a pitcher losing his right arm, like his arm. And you weren't coming off the field. And I remember a lot of guys saying, okay, he's going to be done for a while. And then I see you wrapping that. You're like the human Q-tip. You got that cast on the right and you're snapping with the left. How did you pull that off? And did anybody think you'd be able to do that?
We were playing in San Diego, and I remember the play. We ran a screen. Donnie Edwards was a linebacker. I went to block him, and my hand literally when I went to rip my hands up into his chest, my fingertip actually hit his face mask. And it hurt my hand. I didn't know what it was at the time. I finished that series, came on the sideline, and I couldn't grip anything. And it turns out I broke my finger. I broke my bone in my hand. And I was like, this is it. What am I going to do? It's like I got the streak going. I prided myself on where I was at and actually prided myself on being available. Parcells would always say your best ability is your availability. And you don't make your club in the tub. And so I was like, I got to find a way. I'm not going to not play. The following week, we had a bye week. Herm Edwards is our head coach. Doug Marone's my O-line coach. He goes, well, what do you think? I said, I'm going to learn how to snap left-handed. I had this conversation with Herm and said, hey, if I spend this week and I can figure out how to snap left-handed, you going to let me play? He goes, yeah. If you're comfortable with it and Chad Pennington's comfortable with it, we'll roll with it. And so that's what I did. And we try to keep it under wraps literally the whole week. I'd go out to practice without anything on my hand. So the media didn't see. As soon as the media left, I'd club it up and learn. And I learned how to snap 7-on-7 left-handed. And then I get comfortable enough to where we're in practice snapping left-handed. And by the game week, we're playing Miami. And I go out to warm-ups without anything on. I'm snapping left-handed during warm-ups, but it just don't dawn on you because you don't see any whatever. And then I come out with a club and I'm playing left-handed. And that's kind of where it started. I went 5 games like that. And ended up switching back into the 6th game, or it would have been like the 8th game of the season or something. And but I was determined. I was not going to miss a game just because I broke a finger. Jason Taylor wasn't real happy with me. Zach Thomas wasn't happy with me. The next 5 weeks, people weren't happy with me because I have it. I was like, I might as well use it. And so, I would throw my hands like I normally would, but just happened to have a big old club on the outside of it. So I got penalized one time against San Francisco. They threw it late. Tony Brown was the nose tackle. He got mad because I hit him in the face mask with it. But I remember walking down the field that first game against Miami, and Jason Taylor, man, don't hit me with a club. And we were walking down the field. It's like a change of quarter, and he's right beside me. I kept hitting him in the chest with it. I mean, like this? Like, man, stop hitting me with that club. I said, well, like this? And I keep thumping him in the chest and just laughing about it. And I said, man, don't hit me with that thing. I said, man, if I got it, I'm going to swing it. And it's going to hit you in the face mask. I don't care. But until they tell me I'm doing something wrong, you just better be ready for it. Fast forward a few years, I'm in Tennessee playing against the Detroit Lions. And Dominique Raiola is the starting center, and he broke his hand. And so we're out and they're kind of hanging out before the game and stuff. And I said, "You're not playing today?" He goes, "No." I said, "What happened?" He goes, "I broke my hand." I said, "Man, I did that too." He goes, "How many games did you miss?" I said, "Miss games?" I said, "I learned how to snap left-handed. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to miss a game for this." And he looked at me like, "Man, what a jerk." But, yeah, that was the one thing that stood out for a lot of our fans, that I learned how to snap left-handed because I was not going to miss a game because of a broken finger.
The legend grows, man. Legendary player, legendary story. I do remember Zach Thomas, your great rival of the Dolphins, fellow Hall of Famer, saying that when we played the Jets, and I think it was the ultimate compliment because nobody thinks anybody game plans for an offensive lineman. They said when we talked about them, when we talked about a game plan, he was the first name that came up. And I think that's an incredible compliment for Kevin Mawae, who's in Canton. So it's a bye week for the Buckeyes down here. So this is a great weekend for our football fans in this great city to go to Canton and go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame and hang out with Kevin Mawae. So Saturday, you'll be in the lobby. You'll be greeting guests, surprising guests. All the way from 10 to noon, you'll be in the Super Bowl Theater and the Bust Gallery, which is obviously very impressive. And so we hope fans will go up there who haven't been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in a long time. You're a great reason to get up there and chat with one of the greatest. This has been an absolute honor, especially to hear you say you never won a state title in high school. You never had a single winning season at LSU. You came just short of making the Super Bowl, but you were one of the best to ever do it in professional football, and I know you wouldn't trade a minute of it.
Thanks for having me, Anthony. I appreciate it. And all the listeners in Columbus, I know I'm an LSU Tiger. You might not like me. Come say hi to me anyways. Come check me out in the bus room. Be hanging out, wait for you guys. So appreciate you, and thank you, Ohio.
Let me ask you one final deal. Who do you have more faith in, your LSU Tigers this year or your New York Jets?
LSU, 100%. I'm a homer big time, a lot like the Ohio State fans. I definitely have a whole lot more faith in the Tigers right now.
Be well, Kevin. Outstanding. Thank you.
Take care. All right, thanks, Anthony.
You got it. Kevin Mawae. Was really looking forward to that. Lived up to the hype for me for sure. And you can see Kevin up there in the bust room getting ready with his fine chamois to polish the bust. All right, we'll come back. Tell the truth to wrap it up. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Three dudes who'll make you feel like the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah, we hornswoggled you good.
Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
At Byers Auto, we've been football fans since 1897, back when tailgates had actual tails. Our legacy of supporting our local team is as strong as our commitment to providing exceptional vehicles. While we're known for our new cars, we also offer a variety of pre-owned vehicles that meet our rigorous standards. Our friendly staff is here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit us in person or shop online at buyersauto.com. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Just got a free coffee with my Earnify points.
Your what?
The points I get with the new Earnify app from BP and Amoco. I got $250 for signing up and more every time I fill up or buy anything in the C-store.
Oh, can you use points for fuel?
Of course.
And discounts and deals?
On anything.
Oh, like chips?
Mm-hmm.
Sodas?
You got it.
The actual slushy machine.
Only what's actually for sale. But you do get double the points for the first 90 days. Just go to earnifyrewards.com to download the app.
Available at participating locations only. App content is subject to change.
Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard is celebrating 20 years of working for you. Join us Friday, October 25th from 10 to 2 at 3666 Lakin Road for our 20th anniversary event. For one day only, enjoy 20% savings on select rentals, and the first 20 guests receive a door prize. Enter to win special edition Bobcat Enterprises fleece hoodies and enjoy delicious food and fun. Bobcat Enterprises is locally owned and proud to have served our friends and neighbors in the Columbus area for 20 years. See you Friday, October 25th at Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard.
Welcome to the Plus Side, where a AAA Plus membership means that an empty gas tank won't keep you from a full day, and where a dead battery can't stop you from being the life of the party. Because on the Plus Side, roadside mishaps don't have to ruin your day. With AAA Plus, tire changes, battery swaps, and emergency fuel are just a tap away. AAA gets to you faster, and if you need a tow, we'll take you further. Become a member today and experience peace of mind on the Plus Side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply.
Rosati Windows, the best buying experience in the business.
After the sales process, our installers are the single most important part of the customer experience. Even great windows aren't worth a dime if they're not properly installed. We spend a lot of time testing and choosing our installers. I have to be positive that our customers will receive only the best.
Call Rosati Windows today, 777-4806.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
This year, FanDuel is giving you a chance to win bigly every Thursday night with FanDuel Squares. It's the same Super Bowl Squares game you've always known. It's only way better. Beam, that's because the numbers, they're just not randomly assigned. You get to pick them yourself. You can pick as many as you like, and you'll get to see the odds beforehand, and you can bet them live during the game.
Absolutely, you can. I like a 7 and a 1, maybe a 7 and a 4. Going really traditional on that. So what are you waiting for? Just visit FanDuel.com/juice. Bet on Squares, Sharky. I know you love a little square action.
Yes, indeed. And if you are new to FanDuel, you can bet $5 to get $300 in bonus bets if you win. You must be 21 and older and present in Ohio. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Bring the thrill of the stadium to your wallet with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the only checking account that rewards you for being a Crew fan. Pathways Financial Credit Union, your true financial partner. Federally insured by NCUA.
First down! Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
Well, clearly that didn't work. Would you please just call the waterworks?
At the Waterworks, we mean clean. We'll get your drains good as new on the first down. And as for him, well, there's always the Buckeyes. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
By the time you're finished listening to this Pepsi Zero Sugar, you'll be 15 seconds closer to kickoff. Stock up now. Bengals game day is so close, you can almost taste it. Bengals watching. Better with Pepsi.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
All right, Cole, take us home.
You got it. Hey, we got a pretty big college football Saturday down south. We got number 5 Georgia at number 1 Texas. We also have number 7 Alabama at number 11 Tennessee. Tell the truth, how many of these teams make the playoffs and who?
Texas is making it. I'm pretty well, I shouldn't be that confident because Georgia, if they lose, that'll be their second loss, which they're supposed to lose, and they probably will. And then they got to go to Ole Miss, who may just have a who cares attitude. They host Tennessee. I'm not actually that positive, but I assume, remember, here's the other thing I got to remember. Those brands like Georgia and Ohio State, they're going to win a lot of tiebreakers in that room. It's still a committee. This isn't just numbers they pump into a computer and say you're in the playoff. This is still going into a room with human beings. So I'm going to be confident that Texas, boy, it's hard because Bama beat Georgia. If they lost, well, they should beat Tennessee, but who knows? They might lose to Tennessee, and then that would be their second loss.
But to your point, a 2-loss Georgia, not 3-loss Georgia might be on the outside looking, but a 10-2 Georgia's getting in, 10-2 Bama would get in.
Could Bama lose enough? Could lose 2 more?
Could they
at
be
Tennessee
9-3
and then
again?
at Death Valley.
I thought
But with a win over Georgia.
Entering the year, there'd be one 9-3 team like an Alabama or a Georgia, assuming all three of their losses were tight losses to really good teams, that they would sneak in as a 9-3 team. Now, when I crunch the numbers, I think it's going to be really, really hard for a 9-3 team to make it, but not out of the realm of possibility.
I'm looking at the playoffs right now because I'm going to try to analytic this thing up. I think that Texas makes it. I think Georgia makes it. I think Tennessee wins this week. They got a chance. I'll say 3 of the 4. Probably Georgia, Texas, Bama, with Tennessee on the outside.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yep.
Don't forget about A&M. If they beat LSU, they're probably going to Atlanta for that championship game.
Let me tell you this right now. If you want to get A&M, if you want to bet A&M right now to make the playoffs, you get plus money on them.
That helps Notre Dame a lot. If Notre Dame were to slip up one more time, you think, 10-2, Notre Dame has no chance, right, with a loss to Northern Illinois. Well, they have a win over Texas A&M at Texas A&M. So
they're probably in.
Notre Dame, 11-1 Notre Dame is in, no doubt about it. But I agree. To answer the question, I have Georgia, Texas, and Bama, Tennessee on the outside looking in.
All right, I like this fan poll that Bodie came up with today. Who should the Browns trade next? Greg Newsome, Jack Conklin, Denzel Ward, or other?
Zadarius Smith, I'll take other. Because I think he's the most coveted right now of these teams that are desperate, that need someone.
Would be perfect for the Lions, right?
Yeah.
Would be perfect for the Lions.
Especially with a 32-year-old guy that they could rent and kind of ride to maybe a Super Bowl. He's not Myles Garrett, but who is? Nobody else is. But
of the guys mentioned, maybe Greg Newsome, because he's going to be a free agent, right? Do I have that right? He'll be a free agent. Maybe not. Maybe did they pick up his 5th-year option? Regardless, he's going to be, I think, on the end of his rookie contract. If you can get a lot for him, don't give him up for like a 4th-round pick. But you can get somebody to give you a 2. That'd be awesome for the Browns. The Browns need to start that rebuild process. I know they're stuck with Deshaun. They cut Deshaun. It's like $150 million cap hit or something ridiculous like that next year. I might be a little low on my figures there. So, but they've got to restart. They've got to start the rebuild. They already have with the Amari Cooper trade.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Tragedy struck in the pop culture world yesterday as Liam Payne passed away in Argentina. Liam Payne of One Direction fame. Now, we kind of got the glass segregating us by generation, so I want to test the generation gap right now. Tell the truth. Can you name a One Direction song?
Yes, Story of My Life.
I can't name one.
Story of My Life.
But I could recognize one and pick one out in a lineup.
Some of the solo acts, I bet you know. I know you're.
I don't know them by name, but I would definitely, if I heard them, I would say that's One Direction. I don't know if they get a half a point.
You got
on that.
daughters of a certain age,
I do.
So that might help out a little bit in this.
Yeah, definitely.
What's the song you mentioned?
Story of My Life.
Yeah, I get no points. I couldn't come up with a name.
What about some of the solo albums they've put out? Like, are you a big Harry Styles guy? You seem like a Harry Styles guy to me.
That doesn't make any sense.
Big on the watermelon sugar?
That's right. That's right.
I don't know a name of a One Direction song, but I would recognize it if I heard it.
What are you saying? That you are incapable of lying? That's right. I am incapable of lying.
I got lucky you cut off at one because I don't think I was thinking about it. I seriously could name like a couple of Harry Styles songs or maybe even a Niall Horan song. I have to think about that, but I don't think I can name more than one.
I would count that in this question. If you guys can do that, that would impress me. If you can get their solo careers into this too. All right, let's round it out here. With no Buckeye game this weekend, tell the truth. How do you plan to spend your Saturday?
Watching football all day. And I love Ohio State football, and I love what I do for a living for my full-time job. I love what I do for my part-time job here. But it's going to be nice having a day. We already had one earlier this year. It's going to be having a day, nice to have a day just to watch college football, not have to work. And it's a good day of college football as well. Really good.
It's done already. I'm tomorrow after the show, hitting I-70 West, waving hi to Biddle's house. And I'm going to B-Town to watch the Hoosiers take on Nebraska.
Yeah.
Maybe go to Hoosier Hysteria at midnight on Friday night.
Yeah.
And then try to crawl back here on Sunday. And hopefully they stay undefeated and have an awesome weekend in Bloomington. So homecoming, the whole deal. So doing the whole weekend back in Johnny Cougarville.
Indiana, I mean, we were talking about during the offseason, their over-under win total was 5.5.
That I remember before the season.
It's not even okay. That's true, but it's funny because 5.5. When do you see this in sports where a team gets their over in the minimum amount of games. They are 6-0. Their over-under was 5.5. It's crazy to me.
All right. See you on the Plaza Party tonight. Look for the fan tent. We'll have some cool prizes to give away. And hopefully the Jackets get a victory on home ice. And we'll talk to you tomorrow on a Football Friday. Dave, great to see you, my man. Common Man and T-Bone up next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to the Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye. This is a Fan Action Update.
Download the Prime Sports app today or visit primesportsbook.com and use the promo code JUSTSPORTS for a welcome bonus of up to $100. Road Warriors in the NFL the last couple weeks. Road favorites finished 9-0 last week straight up and against the spread in week 6 of the NFL and 12-0 the last 2 weeks. AFC North teams are 18-4 against the spread through week 6. For your Prime Sports Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
This year's starting lineup at Honda Marysville is as strong as ever, so come see us.
Choose from Ohio's largest selection of Hondas and get 0% for 60 on any new CRV, HRV, Passport Pilot, or Ridgeline with the trade.
Honda's built here, Honda's sold here. Honda Marysville. We're closer than you think.
0% with approved credit and 80% of MSRP financed. 2010 or newer trade with KBB appraisal at $2,500 or more. Must take delivery from dealer stock 10/31/24.
Columbus, the most wonderful time of the year, is finally here because Blue Jackets hockey is back. See it all and make new memories all season long. Get your tickets today at BlueJackets.com.
Just how liberal could Sherrod Brown be? What are his actual votes?
Well, he backed bills to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports and let transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms.
Very liberal.
Brown supported allowing children to receive puberty blockers and even sex change surgery.
Super liberal.
And worse, Brown even voted to allow late-term partial birth abortions, a procedure where the baby is partially delivered alive. That's right. Brown's votes for partial birth abortion are in the congressional record. And Sherrod Brown voted to allow this terrible procedure not once, not twice, but 6 different times over 8 years.
That's radical liberal.
Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's just way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Ohio Basement Authority comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at ohiobasementauthority.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
This is Ryan Krieger, and at Krieger Ford, we know life's busy. Let us handle your car care.
Enjoy our convenient pickup and delivery service, or have our technicians come to you with our mobile service van. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today only at KriegerFord.com.